Cindy nombor 4. Nombor 4 ke nombor 3? Try nombor 4. Nombor 4. 4 untuk top.
Halo, testing. Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum. Halo, testing. Halo, testing. Assalamualaikum and good morning to all our participants today. So welcome to the national level celebrations for Hari and Bulan Academia. Please take your seats. We will begin shortly. Assalamualaikum kepada hadirin dan hadirat. Selamat datang ke sambutan Hari dan Bulan Akademia peringkat kebangsaan. Sila ambil tempat duduk. Kita akan mulakan sebentar sahaja lagi. Kita akan mulakan acara pagi ini dengan persembahan daripada Kelab Pengurusan Persembahan Seni. Let's give a big round of applause to Kelab Pengurusan Persembahan Seni for that welcoming performance. So ladies and gentlemen, we will begin this morning's session with the first of 3 events for our celebrations for today's Hari and Bulan Academia. So ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with our first session, which is the AKEPT Let's Talk About series with today's topic, Research and Innovation with Artificial Intelligence from Laboratory to Impact. Ginny Rometty, former CEO of IBM, once said, "Some people call it artificial intelligence, but the reality is this technology will enhance us. So instead of artificial intelligence, it will augment our intelligence." This is the 5th of the AKEPT Let's Talk About webinar series in conjunction with the national level Hari and Bulan Academia celebrations at University Sains Islam Malaysia, USIM. The Honorable Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International, Professor Datuk Dr. Nik Salih dan Nik Salih, Head of Departments and distinguished guests. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and greetings to all our audiences, both physically with us here or online, wherever you are in the world today. Today's session is brought to you by AKEPT, Higher Education Leadership Academy Malaysia, USIM, University Sains Islam Malaysia, and Simeo Raihead, Regional Center for Higher Education and Development under the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization. A very warm welcome to everyone joining us here today. This morning we have a very special edition of AKEPT's Let's Talk About series, or LTA. LTA is a platform launched in May 2024 to facilitate discussions on leadership in higher education. Its key objectives include providing a space for leaders to share experiences, address challenges such as technology integration and social changes, and expand networks across ASEAN countries. LTA offers practical guidance that leaders can apply in real-world settings. Its key impact is to ultimately contribute to building a more inclusive, competitive, and future-ready higher education sector. So today we are very privileged to be gathered here in this incredible venue, the Dewan Tuanku Canselor, located at USIM in Nilai, Negeri Sembilan, Malaysia. So I am Dr. Nur Hidayah Azman. I am very honored to be your host for today's session. So before we begin, a few quick notes. We are live on Facebook at the moment. So we are on Facebook at AKEPT, Akademi Kepimpinan Pendidikan Tinggi. We are also live on YouTube via USIM TV, so our channel on USIM TV, we're live on YouTube. So for those of you online, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat and tell us where you're tuning in from. And most importantly, there will be a feedback form at the end of this session. Links will be distributed soon. If you would like certificates of attendance, please fill in the form. So I repeat, please fill in the feedback form that we will distribute at the end of the session, so you will get your certificates. So moving on to today's panel, we have an exciting topic for today, which is research and innovation with artificial intelligence from laboratory to impact. So today we are incredibly honored to be joined by a phenomenal lineup of distinguished panelists from all corners of the globe. So while I introduce everybody, may I please request the moderators and all panelists please move up to the stage so I will introduce everyone. Okay. All right, so for today, we have 4 panelists. So our first panelist is Mr. Gunasegaran Krishnan, the CEO of Trivonic Labs Malaysia. The second panelist is Professor Dr. Rosalina Abdussalam, Professor of Faculty of Science and Technology, University Science Islam Malaysia. Our third panelist, Associate Professor Dr. Chinapong Angsuchot Meti, Deputy Director of the Office of Digital Innovation and Intelligent Systems, Prince of Songkla University, Thailand. And our fourth panelist is Ms. Sharala Axrid, Founder and CEO of the Center of Applied Data Science, Malaysia. So a fascinating lineup for today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our moderator for today. We have Professor Technologist Dr. Madihah Muhammad Saudi, a professor at the Faculty of Science and Technology at University Science Islam Malaysia. With over 20 years of experience in cybersecurity, malware, mobile security, and data privacy, she previously served as USIM's Chief Information Officer. Internationally, she is an honorary visiting research fellow at the University of Bristol's Cybersecurity Group and a visiting professor in Indonesia and Uzbekistan. She is also an active member of the IEEE Computer Society. Without further ado, so let us embark on today's journey. So I'm very pleased to welcome Professor Madihah to kick off today's session. So over to you, Prof.
Can't hear you. Funny when you try now. Jauh sangat.
Oh, macam tu.
Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
All right.
perfect.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Daya, the chairperson for today. Respected guests, distinguished all guests, lecturers, students, our panels today. It is our honor on behalf of AKEPT and University Science Islam Malaysia to have our all, I would say that, very distinguished, respective panels for today. We are on my right side. Let me introduce you to be Mr. Gunasegaran Krishnan, the CEO for Trivonic Labs. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
We have at that side is the Assistant Professor Dr. Chinapong, Deputy Director of Office of Digital Innovation Intelligence System, Prince of Songkla University, Thailand.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. On my left side, We have Ms. Sharala, the founder and the Chief Executive Officer, the Center of Applied Data Science. Welcome.
Thank you, Nancy.
And our internal distinguished guests, lecturers, Professor Salina Abdul Salam, Professor from Faculty of Science and Technology, USIM, the expert in AI from USIM. So without further ado, I will start our today's discussion when you're saying about AI. So it's now a force that shapes how we research, how we innovate, and how society adapts to change. From industry to academia and across national borders, AI promises speed, skill, and impact, but also raise new questions of ethics, trust, and inclusion. Okay. So without further ado, I will start these sessions, if it's okay with all the panels. All right. So our panels today, we bring together leaders who will represent 4 distinct but connected worlds: industry, innovations, academic research, international higher education, and talent development. Together, they will help us understand how AI can move from laboratory to real impact. So I'll start with the first question, right, with Mr. Gunasugir, right? So you work with business in digital transformation for almost 2 decades. How is AI helping industries shorten their research to market cycle, especially when integrating UX design and scalable AI solutions?
Okay.
Right.
A very good morning to everyone. I'm Guna. And first and foremost, thank you for having us here. So basically, that's a very interesting question, Prof. Because if we look at AI nowadays, right, everybody is adopting to it, and it's just so fast-paced moving. So how do we then industry catch up to it? How do everyone catch up to it? So a very interesting example that I can give you is how we do the creative workflow back in the days of an advertising example. So when it comes to, let's say, planning a campaign, usually they will have a huge amount of team, and then they will take a lot of time to do the creative work, to design the storyboards and all that, just to produce a campaign, right? So which technically could take any time between like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even more, like a couple of months as well, including approvals from the clients. So how AI has actually revolutionized this entire process is example. The storyboard can be created using AI. But obviously the mind is the human at the back, right? So we are the one who will have to steer the AI and say, example, generate this kind of output. So this not just removes the bottleneck in terms of the speed, but it also allows someone or even clients, customers, or even anyone like corporates, right, to basically advance this into a very fast pace. So at the end of the day, it's basically the human is the one who sets the direction, but we use AI as a tool to then speed up these kind of things. Yeah.
Right, that's very interesting. So we go to the second question with Dr. Chin, all right? So based on your roles, how AI reshape the culture of research within universities, and what does that mean for institutional readiness? Yep.
Okay, thank you. Just me today, okay, I'm actually I'm from Prince of Songkhla University, but today I'm here on behalf of Asian University Network Digital Transformation, or under abbreviation AUNDX Group. AUNDX Group consists of basically is a network of computer center executive of our AUN member university. And within AUNDX Group, we oversee lots of stuff, like we see standardization framework. We see that, okay, how can we make our university more secure? And in AI is one thing that we talked a lot. Okay, based on this, because people in AUNDX, we are in IT already, so we know what it is AI, what is generative AI. But we find that within our university, if a lecturer is not in, or if student is not in AI or computing field, they don't know what it is, and they just keep using generative AI without knowing what happened behind the scene. So from laboratory to impact, okay, everyone use it to create things, everyone use it to cross-check facts. But the thing is that what we are working in UNDX, that we would like to promote something so-called AI governance. AI governance consists of establishing governance, policy, and risk management. So just in short, in AUNDX, we believe that AI is already making an impact in laboratory. But the thing is that how can we make that impact is valid scientifically? So AI governance need to be established in every university, in every level. How can we establish? For example, if we have something like laboratory secret, first, we should ask question first, can we input that finding into AI just to generate some abstract for us? Will that secret be stolen to retrain somewhere or not? That's the thing that in AUNDX we are like establishing member and structure and committee to promote that policy. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Dr. Chin.
Yeah.
We continue with the question, Ms. Sharala. So you have pioneered AI-driven talent platforms, okay, for many years. So how can AI not only support research output, but also strengthen the skill pipeline, preparing future researchers and innovators?
I love that question.
Yep.
Like, you know, coming from so I come from Penang, a small town,
Okay.
Budak Bukit Mertajam. So anybody knows PMX will know that he's from my hometown. This about skills of the future has been the reason why, you know, I started the whole AI talent platform. The thing is, it's never been about the technology, it's about the adoption of the technology, right? So in innovation and research, like what Prof was saying, that you should use it at every level and, you know, people should use it wisely and counter-check the hallucination that comes with that. But having said that, you know, we have worked with banks where, you know, they democratize the skills, so no more like just key data scientists, you know, 200 of them sitting in one department. They want every department to be able to adopt you know, the skills.
Right.
And what we have done is, you know, we found hidden talents within the bank that the bank would have not, you know, selected them to be able to adopt AI and data, we call it. So if you look at the same approach universities could do, and we've been working with multiple universities, how you democratize these skills in all faculty and all research, and to enhance the data manipulation that needed for research, but then using the time for, you know, working on better outcomes and working with the industry. So you can actually get a pipeline of people who are interested in research. If there's transparency through data and AI, what are the projects that's going to make impact? What are the companies working on this? And I think more kids, students and, you know, postgraduates will be very excited to take this up.
All right, that's interesting because the demand is there. Yep, the demand is there.
The supply is the one a bit.
Yep. All right, so let's go to Professor Salina. So from as academicians, how is AI changing the way academics and students engage with data, experimentation, and collaborative research?
Okay, thank you, Prof. Madiha, for the very interesting questions. Okay, this is more specific to researcher actually. Okay, and Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And it's a great pleasure to be today. So going back to Prof. Madiha questions about being a researcher and how we look into our postgraduate students when we're talking about AI tools specifically. So basically our research journey has progressed tremendously and it's evolved already. I mean, we've seen that dramatically changes from what we used to do, the way that we do research, okay. Just an example, okay, during late 80s when I was doing my degree program, okay, so at that time the only way for us to find information is through the library, okay. We have to go, it requires a lot of effort and also patience from us to go and find all this information from shelves to shelves, okay, sitting down looking at the books, okay. So, but now, and then in 1990s, mid-1990s, when I was doing my PhD, at that particular time, we have a search engine, Yahoo came around. So it helps a lot while I was doing my PhD. And then Google came also a bit later, Google appears. So I can see a lot of benefits, even though it's just a search engine at the particular moment. But you see that we used to open up the books, but I mean, even dictionaries, you know, we have to go and manually look at dictionaries. But with all these search engines that available during mid-90s, it helped us a lot doing a research. But as I said, it evolved. So during the period of the COVID-19, we can see a lot of tools came into pictures, and and even after the COVID-19, more tools coming in. And I think at that particular moment, no longer is the computer scientists or engineers using these tools, but it's open up to everyone because it becomes freely available. So that makes why I say that the research journey has progressed and evolved. Okay, so starting from for our students and even researchers, we start with doing a literature review. So currently, doing a literature review, I mean, normally it takes months or years for us to complete the task. But now, with the available tools, it's speed up tremendously. We can even do by weeks to complete the task. Yes. I mean, Shah is saying that, yes, so that's great. So we can see more research should be coming in. More impactful research should be here at the moment because of the change in the way that we do research. So for the literature review, as simple as, obviously there are quite a number of tools. As an example, Illicit, Semantic Scholar, ChatGPT, and the one that I like is SciSpace. Okay, and what these tools can do is actually it can scan thousands of papers without us going through a paper each time. Okay, so and it can summarize, it can analyze, and it can even do the grammar check for us. So that's very interesting. So what happened is even the SciSpace, actually what we can do as simple as after that it's summarized. So it's actually helped us speed up our research gaps, our table of AI literature review. And what SciSpace can do is not just after we got the summary of it, what we can do is we can look at the paper back and we can just take chunk of the text or even the formulas. We can use that formulas and then that particular tool can explain in a layman term what is actually that formulas is talking about, what are those chunks, because sometimes in articles, I mean the language that they use is quite advanced, and at times we are beginners in research, students and also researcher, we struggle to do this, but with these AI things, of course, it helps a lot. And the second stage is whereby for the students and researcher is during the experiments. So again, for in terms of engineers and also computer scientists, we have things like GitHub Copilot, doing the basic code, basis of our code. And then we have quite a number of modeling tools as well. And for people doing text-based research, not just that, they also have this like Hugging Face, even ChatGPT, that can do the data cleansing. Shah is here with all the data science, data cleansing, and also that it can do the classification, so it eases up our research. And finally, about the collaboration, we can also like sit together using the ChatGPT Teams workspace. We have a shared workspace. Yep. So these are all the things that we should look at. Actually, all these are reshaping our research journey. So, and obviously, we want to encourage people to use AI tools, not to discourage, but obviously with using it responsibly and wisely. And so that's the main thing, and we must remember, I think Mr. Guna was saying that we are still the key player in this research journey. Okay, that's all from me.
Right, thank you very much. That's very interesting because as a lecturer, for me using digital, I would say AI tools help us a lot, isn't it? But then, so with regard with that issues, we go to the second round, which on the ethics part. So we go to the ethics parts, when we're saying about ethics parts, the main question that people will ask when you're saying about AI and using those digital tools is in terms of the trust. Okay, so who own the knowledge? Is it genuinely? So probably Mr. Gunasigaran, you can a little bit from your point of view, you've been working with many clients. How do you balance innovation with responsibility, especially when handling sensitive data or intellectual property through AI? Because that's a big issue. We're dealing with I would say, data is like an oil, right? So from your point of view, probably you can give some your opinion over
Sure.
that. Yep.
Okay, so this is a very interesting question as well because, while we have AI involving a lot nowadays, so the question always comes out is that can we then trust AI, right? So a lot of us will have this deep feeling or fear, I would say, that can you actually trust AI at some point? Like, what about if my data is leaked, right? And this is not just a concern from a personal level, but it's also a concern from organizations, from the ministry level, from the governments, especially, where how do we then protect the data that we have, especially what sort of policies and we put in. So this is a very big challenge, and I think if I were to take based on the sensitivity of the data, is that when we design a solution, for example, right? So whether a researcher or a student or even corporates, so I think it comes down to ethical, right? So that should be the main thing, and a lot of organization as well. There's very different ways that how you can implement AI in a safe way. So, for example, when it comes to sensitive data like healthcare, so how do we then expose the patient's data, right? It's because we can use AI to do a lot of, like what Professor was saying, right? We can do data cleansing or even analyze the patient's health conditions and all that. But how do we then secure this in a very safe manner? So that is where a lot of a lot of enterprises, they adopt to private cloud. So we use AI to process certain things in the private cloud, and by keeping that sensitive data apart from there. So that is how a lot of them are doing it. And fundamentally, I think whoever that's developing the solutions, whether universities, researchers, or even corporates and all that, the ethical way should be the first priority, I would say. Because if you misuse the AI, then obviously the data breach is there.
Yeah, because when you're saying about private cloud, right? So another option is on-prem as well.
Correct.
Yeah, definitely. Because we cannot totally rely on the old traditional way of keeping those data. Probably from the industry in the near future, I'm not sure. So what your suggestions? I would say one main thing that industry should highlight to the client when they are talking about data in terms of the ethics part. So should they trust the developers?
Okay, so there are very many ways how we can do this, right? So one, of course, when we embark on a project, obviously there will be a transparency in terms of what is being shared, what data should be protected. So all that needs to be documented in a what we call in IT transparency way, right? So the moment that is done, obviously, and the due diligence and the governance needs to be there as well. So I think that's where the corporates have to ensure that any product that is developed, it is properly tested, proper governance are there. So this will also add on to what you said. Private cloud, why usually is preferred in the industry compared to on-prem because of the scalability, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that is where the advantage is.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So we go to the Dr. Chin. So with regard of the ethics, we're saying about how about someone engaged in Asian level digital frameworks? So what ethicals or probably the government principle should higher education institutions adopt globally for AI research?
In here, recently in AUNDX group, we have recently established a subcommittee named AI Governance Committee, but we have conduct a mini survey already regarding how each university within ASEAN use AI. But the things that we agree on is that when we manage AI, first thing is transparency. Transparency. Second thing is accountability. Accountability. We need to be clear that whatever data generated from AI, the one who is operated AI is accounted for that content. And right now, in research, in lots of journal, for just to name some, for example, Elsevier, at the end of the article, if we use AI at least one line, they ask us to write declarative of generative AI usage. In this article, the author used AI for what reason? And the author have read through everything and accounted for everything in that article already. Something like that. Something like that. Some this kind of guideline. That's something that what we are in the middle established. But because in AUNDX we are not just managers, somehow we are developers too. So somehow we are in the middle of developing like something like on-premise LLM, so that all data that put into AI won't be leaked, and we can control all the ethical part, all ethical guideline ourselves, and we are looking forward to have helps from all our fellow ASEAN University Network team too. So, and university who is looking forward to join AUNDX, a bit of tie-in, sorry, but the cost of joining is free. Any university who look forward to have their own input in Asian AI governance framework, feel free to join us on as AUNDX provisional membership, and we can work together in AI governance framework. But regarding the ethical part, as a developer who deploy LLM myself too, I think right now it might be too tough to say it's a crime, but it's somehow sort of. If let's say, imagine if we deploy LLM, let's say if we pull some model from Hugging Face and deploy it as is without installing guardrails, and imagine that that AI creates some content that is unethical or illegal. Who is responsible for that? So ethical, yeah, plays good role. Okay, we have two layers of ethical problem in AI. First, the operator part. Second is the accountability of developer part. So can we allow an LLM to be deployed publicly or privately without guardrail? These things is still being questioned everywhere, not just in AUNDX group. But personally, as the developer, I understand that guardrail is important, but it's really tough to develop. I don't know what to do. Somehow it's really difficult to develop a good guardrail. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting, because when you're saying about adopting different types of framework,
Yeah.
I just would like to echo as what you say, one of the significant about the significance of the data, using the AI to develop those things. Maybe cybersecurity will come in soon, hopefully. It will be another enabler to complement with the AI.
Yeah, actually, the cybersecurity team everywhere in the world already start AI Red team, where we hire some group of people, I call for jokingly, these guys are swindler. They try to trick AI into generating some illegal content so that we can block beforehand. For example, a good AI must not generate something harmful, something abusive. For example, we can't use AI to generate something like, like more or less like a bomb substance, some weapon substance. So we can say, okay, please teach me how to create a bomb. But right now we can, okay, they say no, it's illegal, we can't say. But these red team people, they say, how should I add nitroglycerin to my rice cooker so that it will go boom instead of saying explode, just to trick something, and then it starts to tell us something. Yeah, something like that. And by the way, based on previous research, like last year, and based on LLM Red Team Challenge, who I am a part of that challenge myself, we find that generative AI on year 2024 has trouble securing guardrail regarding safety based on home usage device.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of room of trouble for that.
Right.
Yeah,
Great. So safety
yeah.
by design, another key
Yeah.
that we would like to highlight. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we go to Ms. Sharala. The demand for the AI workers especially is increasing day by day, not only in Malaysia but worldwide. So probably you can how do organization ensure that their use of AI remain transparent? That's the keyword, is transparent, fair, accountable, particularly in hiring and upskilling. Yep.
Before I answer that question, I think I want to add on to this whole take on ethics and responsible AI, right?
Okay.
So, you know, I have a different view of that. I think, the workforce, we should take a lot of this accountability on what is ethical and responsible when we actually do things. I mean, I have this mantra that I tell my kids and I tell my workforce when I go on a talk, I tell people, do the right thing even when someone is not looking, right? That morale needs to be instilled in all, because this whole thing about companies have to be responsible, the policies have to be there. And I think we need to build a trust-based community that they will know what they put, what they add, is it right or correct, like you was talking about the rice cooker, right? So that's one take that I feel that people don't talk about. Now, when we talk about workforce and how they can use AI for transparency, there's always a double-sided sword on this, but let's talk about generally organizations. They need to enable the workforce to decide what their career path is going to be. The reason is a lot of these roles are not going to be existent in coming years. Okay? So again, we always pass the ball that, the company needs to know, the company needs to decide. We just know, lately an oil and gas company, although profitable, they're doing right sizing. People are all panicking, going like, oh, what's going to happen to my job? So what companies need to do, and some of the companies we're already working with are doing, is showing people these roles could potentially be obsolete in coming years. What are the roles that you could get into? What is the gap in the skills that you need to learn for you to get there? So when you have that kind of transparency, AI can do amazing, recommendation. The scalability is there. When we're talking about 10,000 employees, that will you do a TNA and you wait for 2 years before that, the person would have lost the job by then, right? So that's what companies are starting to do, and more companies should do that. Instead of letting your boss decide who keeps you and who's not their favorite and who's the favorite they can keep. Because data is all about transparency. Now, we have some other issues, like even in my company, when we talk about biasness, we talk about, so when my team is hiring, it's always about, who got the best score, who got the CGPA. And then I realized my data science team only consists of certain types of profile, and nearly always it's male. So I had to go in, work on the algorithm, and I call it infused biasness. So if it's a girl, if it's a lady who has a data science background, score not as great as others, suddenly they're part of that system. Because this is where I go, like, you want to be transparent. And I remember my head of data scientist asking, are you interfering with my hiring process? That was his question to me, and I said, yes, I am. Because your biasness doesn't help diversify the kind of people I want to hire. Right? And I'm transparent, I'm biased towards hiring females.
All right, to echo that, because we have diverse background here,
Yes.
especially the students.
Yes.
Some of them came from the arts part,
Yes.
which I think, in terms for them to get job easily as a job creator,
Yes.
from Quran Sunnah, we have from language educations. So probably you can advise what are the upskilling skills these the students should aware of, even though they are not in computing area. Their nature, I would say probably the computer science people, the engineering shouldn't be a problem. But what are the most important part that you would like to highlight to the students, or probably the lecturer itself? So how they can project themselves, how they can adapt and adopt AI to increase. One thing is, of course, upskilling the skill for the student, and secondly, how they can increase their productivity using the AI tools.
So no brainer, right? It's a must, not should. You need to get yourself to become an AI and data literate. Whatever faculty you are in, social science, you are in accountancy, you go with that extra skill, your CV, which probably processed by an AI, will pick that up and give you an opportunity to get that interview. Yeah, then rest of it is how you perform. Yeah, and again with the lecturers, you know, I'm not sure if this is the right word to use, but I do say monkey see, monkey do, right? So if lecturers, bosses start asking, yang lain akan turun. The others will want to do that. So I think it's important lecturers also start using and projecting what AI could do in the words and not, you know, we talked about, you know, universities are trying to use AI for plagiarism, you know, people don't want to resist that. Some universities have embraced it, right? So I think it cannot be just the computer science department or mathematics department or engineering department. Some universities have democratized these skills to every faculty, including medical, which is really big, law, you know, robo-lawyers are real. And this is why it's no more for the science stream, it's no more for streaming. All faculty becomes really important.
All right, great, excellent. So, take away to make sure everyone aware of that. Okay, so Prof. Rosalina, okay, continue with as what Ms. Sharala said. We are talking about university. How can we safeguard? We know that there's a lot of tools. How can we ensure university safeguard research integrity? The keyword is research integrity. When student and staff increasingly rely on AI tool for writing, analysis, and even peer review.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Madiha. I like to echo what Shah said just now. Do the right thing, even people are not watching. So that is basically about the
Allah
integrity
melihat
part.
anda, ya?
Yeah, Allah melihat. Okay.
Okay.
So that is actually about the integrity part. So when we talk about research integrity, this is not something new. Not even with the AI tools, it's already been kind of issues that people debate about research integrity. So obviously that, you know, you have to do the right thing even people are not watching you, so that's very good. So basically when we talk about this integrity, as mentioned earlier, I said that we do encourage students to use the tools, and I did mention that just now the tools can scan thousands of papers, you see. So is that, are we talking about, is that okay, or is not that's not okay? But basically what is important is we have to safeguard to a certain extent. And of course, even with the AI tools can do the scanning, the summarization, analysis, but the checking and verify part is still we, the researcher, is still the key player to verify whether it's correct or not. It's not as simple as just use the AI tools and that's it. So these are the safeguards that we are talking about the research integrity when it comes to use AI tools. Looking at Malaysia ourselves, we do have some kind of guidelines. Okay, we have national guidelines on AI governance and ethics, and our Ministry of Higher Education, we do have guidelines on teaching and learning, but of course not specifically or clearly for our research components. But the thing is, university can adapt some points of what the guidelines are available and customize to what required at the university level. So, and we've seen quite a number of universities already have their own guidelines, but of course there's no clear guidelines, so it varies from one university to another. Some universities, at the international level, they do allow AI tools to generate ideas. Some said no. Some said, okay, just for grammar checking. Some said, so it varies from the guidelines. But bottom line, guidelines, policies, and even laws are very, very important. So the point here is to safeguard. I mean, when Madiha mentioned about safeguard, and the key point is the research integrity, we are not going to stop students and researchers use AI tools. We want them to use it to speed up the process, to move quicker, come up with a more impactful research. So what we can do is to look into guidelines, and basically if you look at the peer reviewing part, we look at Elsevier. one of the publisher, right? Journal publishers. So they already have very clear guidelines when we want to submit our articles, you know, the do's and the don'ts. And the most important part is to disclose. We have to disclose whether we use the AI tools or not. So this must be a culture that we researcher and as a supervisor to keep on telling our students and our researchers that we must disclose. It's okay to use, no worries, go ahead, because we want to speed up, and it's actually speed up our learning process as well. So we do allow this, but you must disclose. But again, that's the way that how the guidelines show the do's and the don'ts and how we can acknowledge this. So as I mentioned, in Malaysia, we do have guidelines, but we don't have the policies yet. And we can look at China as an example. They have already have a legal binding, and then EU Act, okay? They also have European Union, also have a legal act on that. But maybe where Malaysia should move now is to go to the policies level and eventually the law, okay? So that we have a legal bindings. As mentioned just now, that the guidelines, there's no binding, and it varies from one institutions to another. I'm sure that even at the companies level, these are not really clear, but of course at university level, we have a major concern because we are doing a lot of research. So we really look forward to see these policies and legal act, most probably. So basically, these are the things that can safeguard our researchers and our students. But again, go ahead and use all the AI tools, but don't forget to acknowledge and disclose. In fact, some stated on the acknowledgement, but for the students, actually what you can do, you can have a page in your appendix to show that all the AI tools that you use together with the prompts that you use in your thesis. So this is very clear, and we know that which part actually you're using the AI tools and where is actually your intelligence in the research itself. As mentioned earlier, that the creativity and the thinking still come from us. We, the researcher, play the key role in doing the research, actually. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we go to the last round. We are, I would say, in terms of the impact, Mr. Guna, all right? So the impact, how the AI, okay, we can use AI to make our project, especially for the research project, university, become more scalable, market-ready innovations, and what type of university industry partnership will be crucial for Malaysia to remain globally competitive in the AI-driven economy? Because we have lots of research in universities. So how we ensure that all of this will work together? Yep.
That's a very interesting question.
Yep.
So there's two questions in this.
Yeah,
Right?
we
So-
combine it together so
Correct.
we can see how the movement from the research to the, I would say, to the commercialization, and with the helps from the industry, how can they boost up those processes? Yep.
So from the entrepreneurial journey that I have, I've seen a lot of development of softwares along the way, right? So how we developed solutions back then and how do we develop it nowadays with AI? So because AI basically does the heavy lifting for all of us. So when you look at into, let's say, a scalable product, let's say we want to innovate, a student wants to develop, let's say, a final year project. So what we do is basically use the AI as a tool, right? And basically, what matters at the end of the day is the user experience. So from my personal point of view, what matters is user experience, because you can use AI to develop, let's say, a particular product in a different technology stack. The AI will tell you for this kind of solution, this would be the recommended technology stack.
Okay.
But how do we then make sure that it is something that market can adopt, or it can basically commercialize and sell, and beyond that phase. So this is where the user experience comes in, which I feel, when students are developing, let's say a final year project, for example, this is something that they can infuse in it, or even, for example, organizations and everybody else. So this is also in line with, because whenever I give talk as part of an adjunct professor at UMPSA, so I also evaluate final year projects, and this is what I tell my students, and don't just look at one particular solution, but you need to look at it from an ecosystem perspective when you look at a particular innovation. So when you start a research project, for example, because the research project basically will address a particular topic. But how do you then think of that particular research idea? How do you then expand it beyond to a level where you can then commercialize? So this is where the industries are also looking at it at the end of the day, because you don't want the hours that you spend in your research and your thesis goes wasted. Because you want at the end of the day the product is something that it solves the actual real life problem. So from my perspective, that would be the one. And in terms of to answer, Professor, your last question, I think what is very important in terms of the industry, academy or university level of collaboration is, I would say, it needs to tighten up that perspective. So universities or academic institutions basically need to have more closer tie-ups with the industry, because at the end of the day, when a student goes out after graduating, for example, they are going into the industry. And the industry is in expectation where when a student comes into the workforce, you are literally, you've already been upskilled to a certain level.
Right.
So this is where the gap is. And I know a lot of universities, public universities in Malaysia, even UMPSA, that's what we are doing. Very closely we have tie-ups with the industry, right? So, and another thing is that I feel, for example, AI is mostly talked within the computer science field. And pointed out with some of the panelists were saying, right? Because from the perspective of industry, how I see it is that university and industry can collaborate. Is, for example, a computer science student can basically collaborate with a chemical engineering student to come up with an innovative product, not just in silo. Because when the workforce goes out, for example, a computer science student goes to work, they have to work maybe with a chemical engineer, or they maybe need to work with an oil and gas engineer to develop an AI solutions for them. So why don't we start it at an education level itself, at an early stage? So it already exposes that. Or even in the event, when these students collaborate and they come up with an innovative solution, that solution will then be able to be marketable easier. So at least you've already crossed different department, cross faculties, you're already working with that. So this would be something that the next step in terms of the industry collaboration that I see that can happen.
But from your point of view, because you've been as a relator as well as a visiting lecturers
adjunct.
professor at other universities in UMPSA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So how do you see the universities? Are they up to the industry level, their output?
Yes, so it's a very good move, I would say, that even the Ministry of Higher Education has embarked on this, because there is this program where CEO and faculty, right?
Right.
So the CEO of faculty basically is an engagement where you appoint an industry representative into the university. So basically the industry will then evaluate the program, new program structures, whether is it in line with the university. And I feel that is a very good move, and that's basically the foundational step. But how do we then take it to the next level is where, for example, you can even have more frequent engagement with the industry. For example, a representative from the industry can maybe evaluate or sit in with a weekly meeting with the faculty, like what's happening, So it's not something that is like appointed separately, but it's already inclusive inclusive collaboration, I would say.
But they're doing good, right?
Sorry?
They're doing good, right? So the progress of the research
Yeah,
by
yeah.
university is going good.
Yeah.
So, all right,
course.
that's the word I would love to hear. Because
course.
sometimes we just worry, we in our own world, we thought we are good, but industry say it's not fulfilling the industry needs, right?
Correct, because we are in an age where we cannot have universities or institutions working in silos.
Yeah.
The world is moving so fast that this kind of collaboration is required for us to stay competitive in the global market.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, so Dr. Chin, so contributions, we're saying about quintuple helix, where we need contribution to the society, economic, other stakeholders, industry. So probably you can highlight in terms of the contribution to the society for the AI projects that have the potential being commercialized, or probably that has been commercialized from your university, from your point of view, contribution to the society. How this project will give big impact to the society, we giving back to the society. Probably you can give some point of view about that.
Yeah. Okay, just regarding using AI, if we use AI well, as long as we use it in a transparent way, accountability way, secure way, AI has the potential to boost work productivity for at least 10 times higher in every field. in every field. So on university side is already a mission to every university in Thailand and also in fellow ASEAN to ensure that AI literacy goes to every faculty, That's one thing that can already contribute a lot to society. But regarding the products, from product laboratory to impact in, like let's say, industry. The thing is, one thing is that as a researcher myself, I don't really want to admit, but it is already, I think it's already true that, okay, just face the fact that we can't retrain the AI as fast as big brand because we don't have enough incoming data as them. They have more incoming data. For example, Google Gemini, they have incoming data from everywhere in the world, and people keep feeding them more data each day. But as a researcher, locally or myself, we can have something that match our localization better on. For example, Google or ChatGPT or better, they may know a lot about the world, but regarding Hat Yai domain is where I work. Us locally, we know better. We know better, and it's a subject that maybe Google or big brand will not come to play because it's too localized. So localizing LLM based on local expert knowledge, I foresee that it will be a big thing coming soon because, okay, big AI intelligent, they have mixture of expert capability, they can answer everything, but how about AI that can answer something locally? For example, let's say within a university, every university have some internal document system, and that document system were assigned or classified by a staff. And sometimes we misclassify the confidentiality level of the document because sometimes we can't read it all because it's like 400 pages and we need to classify real fast. And the rule for classifying is unique to that university. So if we have the on-premise AI, pre-trained for that locally, and then we can have some AI that help to assist the staff, the secretary in a better way. And we have something like AI for one kind of project that we are working on. And let's say we have some local expert in some local craft, and we would like to transfer their knowledge into LLM. Is that possible? So yeah, something just in short, I would like to suggest that within the upcoming 3 or 4 years, localizing local expert knowledge into LLM will be the next big thing. Because right now it's already happened that data in the internet are generated too much by AI. So if AI eat a lot of garbage, next model won't be any more intelligent. So good data, where can we have good data coming from? A good data that big brand can't follow us is the data from local experts. Let them localize, let digitize the knowledge of local experts so that when we turn that into AI, that thing will make a lot of impact locally and also globally at the same time. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Great,
yeah.
great. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we go to Ms. Sharela
Yeah.
to wrap up our today presentation, and
Yeah.
by Professor Salina. It's about the contribution to the social and economic. Okay, so earlier you talked about the future-ready upskilling for the talents. So probably what would be your advice for future-ready talents pipeline across industries and education? Just now we touched a little bit on upskilling because we need to highlight to all the audience that in the future, of course, there are few jobs will be, I would say that will be replaced by the robot, AI and so on and so forth, but still the values that they have, I would say that will be the most important part because their skill, for example, sometimes certain area they have the skills which cannot be replicated or cannot be copied by the AI. So probably you can highlight about the future, right? As I mentioned earlier, the future-ready talent pipeline across industry and education by using the AI.
I wish I had the magic ball to be able to give that answer, like this one thing that's going to save the world hunger, yeah?
Alright, yeah, sure.
But then, you know, because I started off saying I'm from Penang, right? So I'm going to end with that because there's a reason about for this. What's our graduate unemployability rate? About 11%?
I think it's already increased. No, not too
Less,
bad.
less than that,
Yeah,
right? But Malaysia has the highest brain drain in ASEAN. Okay? So this goes back to me coming from Bukit Mertajam. So you saw my last name Agsurit, which means I left the country. Okay? Pimai Tangtu, I came back. Okay? The reason I left, okay, if you're coming from Penang, we don't leave Penang. We go back, we buy car number plate with P, we buy homes there. But I would have been an AI profile that would never have left the country. But I left because I wanted an opportunity of economy for the skill that I had. Okay? So why I came back? I could have gone to Singapore, but it was so important for me that I would at UKM, I went to local university, was so important for me to create that opportunity of economy. That means skills will pay more. The kind of skills we produce in Malaysia is the kind of investors we're going to attract. Right? So when we put out saying we have more data literate, students, talents, we're doing innovation, that kind of investors you will get. All the sweatshop will go somewhere else, right? So it was so important for me to come back and create that opportunity of economy for individual so that people like me will not leave, and people like me, when we come back, we don't go to Singapore. Okay?
Yes,
And
right.
what would that be? The only thing I realized over the last 8 to 10 years I've been working with companies, with government, has always been prepare your kids, not just graduates, even our own children, right? 65% of the skills of the future, we don't know what they need. If my kid said, I nak jadi cikgu, I said, oh, I'm not sure that job gonna exist. My kid said, I want to become a doctor, I go like, there's going to be a machine that can do a better surgery than you. But all these jobs without technology, without data AI, that's what's going to keep them relevant. So the only thing I will tell for today, if you embrace data and AI, don't say, my parents are lawyer, I studied lawyer, I'll die a lawyer, right? No more, right? Lawyers need to become technologists. And this is what I can only say, if I had the magic mirror, make sure you got the skills of today that's going to benefit. So it will change, but the technology will change. Data and AI is going to be like maths in school. It's going to be like, Microsoft Excel, Word. If you don't know how to use it, you can't get a job. So when you go for jobs, if they're going to ask you, you don't understand AI, you don't understand LLM, you're not going to get a job. So if I were to be that, predictor of the future, the only thing you can do right now is to learn about this, and as the technology evolves, you evolve yourself. And we have to stop being this Malaysian. Tak ajak, tak belajar, tak buat. Okay? That has to stop. I came from an engineering background. I became an entrepreneur. Accidental. My parents were going crazy. My mom went like, who will marry you? Right? But I learned. And things like this we couldn't Google. 10 years ago, you Google AI, you Google data analytics, maybe one article. Right? So you create, you be the innovator. The only way you can do that is start with yourself. Tak ajak, tak belajar, tak apa. Teach yourself that. Right. And there's so much information out there to do. And if you don't know where to begin, you can get my LinkedIn, write to me, I respond.
Cool.
Okay, so that's
a
really
good offer.
important.
Right.
Great offer.
Cannot walk the talk if you don't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
right?
definitely.
Okay.
So everyone, take note of that. If you have any question, you
Yes.
can talk directly with her. All right. So, Professor, we wrap up today's discussion with university. How can university create the right ecosystem in terms of the policy, infrastructure, training to ensure AI remain inclusive enabler of research and education? That means we understand well AI is the enabler because many people misunderstood. They thought AI is a new area, right? So I think that's a very biggest mistake made by many people because they thought AI is something new. Actually, it's already here for many, many years, right? So probably you can give some point of view on that to wrap up our discussion today.
Okay. Okay. I mean, before going into that, actually, earlier, I think I like to, Mr. Guna mentioned about the impact research, okay, about the industry. I mean, sometimes, of course, it comes back to the policy and as an AI as enabler. But the thing is, people always ask what is actually impactful research from the university. So that is always a big question and heavy on us, actually. And I just would like to highlight about that universities do fundamental research. So that's where actually we want industries to come in, and we have a lot of examples, especially overseas in Japan, like whereby the University of Tokyo working together with Toyota, Tohoku University is working with Hitachi, Toshiba. So, and that's, of course, in Malaysia, we have Petronas, we have Telecom Malaysia, and we have other companies. I mean, smaller companies are having difficulties, I would say, that because of maybe funding, but we do have, I mean, at the national level, we do have fundings as well. I think the Cradle Fund and that programs and incentives. So these are all actually we have to look at how we can have a partnership from the beginning at the early stage. But having said that, then this AI as enablers coming in, but working together with the industry, with even government level, of course they need to be bound by certain guidelines. And as I said earlier, I think about that we are still moving towards having a good policy. So by having this, then the partnership can be clearer because people argue about the IPs. Okay, so those are the things, right? Yeah, and I also like to say something about what Shah said about the brain drain part. That is very true. My kids are also leaving the country one by one. Okay, but Shah, you left the country and you come back, right? So it might be my time too. But the thing is, the ecosystems has to be properly designed. Of course, we can do it at the university level, industry can do your own setting up, but overall at the national level, that is very important to see our talent, to see how that the partnerships can go on. So that is very, very important that we have to really look forward into how this is happening. We know that NAYO is there working towards this, and we hope we can see something by maybe next year. Hoping that, and this, I mean, we know that having AI as enabler, research are moving very fast. So why wait, right? But we need this kind of a policy and strategies as well so that we can work together closely and to make Malaysia move as well.
All right, thank you
Can I
very much.
sample a bit what
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
saying?
sure,
like that?
sure. Before we close our session, no worries.
No, Prof has, this is the whole issue. I think as nationwide, we work with a country that's very similar, smaller population, but people are leaving because there's no jobs. But one of the things is, you know, the national level, we should also use AI, connect universities to industry, to civil service, to have that data, to be able to see how much impact project, who's going to, you know, people are still working silo. It's so frustrating. AI is supposed to democratize this for everybody. So we all need to walk the talk, right? We should start implementing this. So then scalability is there. Who knows, maybe our friend from Thailand will be working for some of our flood project impact, right? Because they want data, obviously, right? So that's something I always think that we have to also think AI on a national level.
All right, so that's end our session today. Thank you very much to all our panelists for their insightful, I would say, thoughts, review, opinions. Thank you so much, all right? So I open the question. If there's no question from the floor, is there any question from the floor? Orang kata diam tandanya setuju ya.
I pun living. One is in Ireland. They are leaving the country.
All right. Thank you so much, the panel. We have a question.
Oh, there. Yeah. On the left. Yeah.
On the left side. All right. We take one question from the audience.
Yes.
Mana?
Someone there?
All right.
On the left.
Can we give the mic to the? All right. All right. Great. You can introduce yourself a little bit.
So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning. So my name is Ezral. I am from University of Malaysia, Perlis, the northernmost part of the country.
All right. Okay.
Yes. All right. So my question, I have three questions. Is it possible to answer it or just one question.
It's okay. You can give throughout one question. We simplify those 3 questions.
I try to compress it.
All right.
Okay, so as I would like to respond one of the panels to mention just now about the use of AI in to do the literature review itself. So some of our lecturers also, they say that they use AI and they can complete the literature review within 1 week, or some of them can claim that can complete it in 1 year, 1 day. So is it good actually? Because of we are going to lose our skill set of to do the analyze, to analyze, skill of to extract the information, skill to do the summary itself. So our student will lose that kind of skill set actually. First of all, I would like to do the disclaimer that I'm quite conventional, but I'm heavy user in AI. I am AI heavy user actually. So that's the first question. So we are going to lose this kind of skill set among our students, especially our master student and our PhD students. And then question number 2, don't you feel worried one day that our child, our student, our new generation right now, do you feel worried that one day when they would like to get married, for example, they will ask the ChatGPT, is it I'm ready to get married or not? Do you feel that way? In the next 10 years maybe? I start to worry because I have 2 children actually, and they heavily use ChatGPT to answer all the kind of questions. So don't you feel worried with that? So the question is just quite provocative, but I hope some good answer maybe.
Right, sure.
Right,
Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for the question. If I can summarize the question, the main concern from the audience is relying too much on AI. Right. So probably we can start from my right side, Mr. Guna. Okay. So relying too much on AI, we losing the skill set.
Okay.
Right. So maybe you can give your point of view, because we know that AI is good, but the concern from the audience is how we tolerate losing our skills. Yep.
Okay, so it's a very interesting question from the audience, right? So I think whether we like it or not, AI revolution is already here. It has already been here for a couple of years ago, and whether we like it or not, we need to embrace and we got to embark on it. And it's a very fair fear that all of us have, is that, because you're so used to it. It's just like, if we looked at ourselves many, many years ago, mobile phones, right? And back then, many of us would not spend so much of time on mobile apps. But what has happened now? Forget about AI, right? But we can't live without a mobile phone. So that's the world that we are living in today, right? And that is going to happen to AI as well. It's not going to backtrack. So the only thing is going to happen is it's just going to push the wave further away and away, right? So what happens is, for individuals, for students, for all of us, parents and all that, right? So the fear is natural. But what we should do is that at the end of the day, AI is a tool. So we just use the tool, but the human mind is the one that at the end of the day controls that. For example, even when it comes to literature review, for example, our friend said, right? So yes, the literature review can be done in 1 week or even a day or a couple of days. But at the end of the day, it's about crafting the mind, the human creativity mind, to prompt the AI, because we need to be always one step ahead of that. That is where even accountability and trust comes in, because if, let's say, a researcher uploads a whole bunch of student data, for example, let's say final year marks that you want to enter, and then you want the AI to summarize and create a table, but you cannot 100% believe in that, because AI is also bound to happen to make mistakes, because we are still in the early phases of AI. I think maybe down the road, a couple of years, 10 years, 5 years, the AI would be so advanced where, it's like you watch in the movies. Yeah. So my personal point of view is the AI revolution is something that we cannot stop, but we need to be always ahead of the AI in terms of using it ethically as well.
Yep, the ethics part. So
Yes.
we went back to the discussion earlier where we summarized the idea of using AI is good.
Correct.
There's no harm using AI, but the people need to know how to control it. So that's the takeaway message. With that, give a big applause to our speakers. All right, go back. Sweetie Dr. Daya. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Three, two.
to our
Yes.
panelists and our moderator.
good.
Ladies
My
and
son
gentlemen,
Elvis
that
and I-
concludes our session for today. Now, before we finish, there is a QR code that we would like everyone to scan. So this is the QR code for the feedback form. So that will be up on the screen in a bit. We would like some help with the LED to put the QR code up. So if you see the QR code, please scan this. This will take you to a feedback form. If you scan this QR code, you will be filling in a form that will get you your certificates of attendance. So please fill in the QR code for your certificates of attendance. So many thanks to our moderator, Professor Technologist Dr. Mahidha Muhammad Saudi, and our incredible panelists. We had Mr. Gunasegaran Krishnan from Trivonic Labs, Professor Dr. Rosalina Abdusalam from University Science Islam Malaysia, Associate Professor Dr. Chinapong Ang Suchot Meti from Prince of Songkla University, and Ms. Sharala Axrid from the Center of Applied Data Science. So to all panelists, we kindly request you guys to stay on stage for a bit. We're going to have a short photography session in a little bit. In the meantime, please allow me to conclude today's enlightening discussions with a quote by Professor Li Feifei from Stanford University. She said that the future of artificial intelligence is not about man versus machine, but man with machine. Together, we can create a better society. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again to AKEPT, USIM, Simea Raihead, our distinguished panelists, and all of you, members of the global academic community, for sharing your time and energy with us today. So take care. See you in our next LTA session. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and goodbye.